Uh, Hello, everyone. Good evening to each one of you. So, today this is our first live interactive session on circular dichroism and Mosby spectroscopy. And so, in these live sessions, we would be discussing the previous year assignment questions that will help you in solving the questions of your assignments, and it will also help you in clearing your doubts that you might be getting throughout your lectures. So I request everyone who is following these interactive sessions to kind of be regular throughout the doubt sessions. So these sessions would be held every week on Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. And I am Tanu Kaushik. I'm from IIT Bombay, and I'm a PhD student working with Professor Arnab Datta. So, Professor Arnab Datta is the course instructor for this course, Circular Dichroism and Mosby Spectroscopy. I hope you have started following the first week lectures, which was about symmetry and symmetry elements. How do we find out how do we figure out what which symmetry element is present in a particular molecule. So through in today's session we would be discussing about symmetry elements and how can we find them. So we have some more questions to solve. So initially we would be going through the basic concepts, just an overview, and later on we would be solving the doubt questions. So hi Sarthak, can you hear me? Hi Sarthak, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I can hear.
You can also write in the chat box if you're not comfortable in speaking up. So, if you are active throughout the sessions, it would be like the goal of the sessions would be addressed, which is these sessions must be interactive. So, I hope you guys would be interactive throughout the sessions, and you can stop me when you have any doubts. So, I guess my mic was off earlier, and I kind of introduced myself. So, without this mic on, so I'm Tanu from IIT Bombay, working with Professor Arnab Datta. So I would be your TA, like doubt solving TA for this course, and we would be having these doubt sessions every week on Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. And I request everyone to be like consistent while attending these sessions, because this would help you in solving the assignment questions and later on in your exams. So we will wait for one more minute if anyone has to join. Okay. So in today's session, we would be discussing about symmetry elements. So firstly, what is circular dichroism? So there are 12 sessions overall, because there are this is a 12-week course. So there would be 12 live interactive sessions where we would be solving the doubt, like the more questions based on the assignments of previous year questions, and following what content has been taught in the main lectures, we would be discussing the questions. So in this week's lectures, it was about symmetry elements, and that's what we would be discussing today. So let's get started. uh, so I'm asking again, Sarthak, can you hear me, and is the screen visible to you?
Yes, yes, I can hear. A blank white screen is visible.
I guess you were speaking, but I can't hear you. Okay, okay, great. Okay, okay. So let's get started. So first is circular dichroism. Uh, I think my tab is bit behind because of the network issue. So let's see. Okay, so what is circular dichroism? So circular dichroism is basically an optical technique which helps us to study the chiral properties of molecules, and those are basically biomolecules, for example, protein, nucleic acids, and organometallic complexes. So this is I'm writing it for whoever who would be following it the lectures later. So it is an optical technique used to study asymmetric or chiral molecules, especially biomolecules like proteins, amino acids, or some metal complexes. So, how does it differentiate between the like when we have asymmetric molecules, the way light interacts with the molecule, the different for example enantiomers of a particular molecule, how do light interacts with it? So CD spectroscopy measures the difference between. I'm just giving an overview. We would be we would be discussing in detail about seeding from the next lecture. Today's session is mostly about symmetry elements. So it's just a brief overview where I'm kind of setting up the stage for like what we would be discussing in the later sessions. So it measures the difference between absorption of light by left-handed and right-handed circularly poly, poly, polarized light. So you must have studied about the plane polarized light. So when light interacts with in a single plane, so it is plane polarized light. But when light interacts in two planes which are perpendicularly associated with each other, it gives A circularly polarized light. So, CD spectroscopy basically measures how a particular molecule rotates or absorbs or kind of interacts the light in two different manners, that is, left handed and right handed circularly polarized light. So, we will be going in details later, and now we would be kind of starting on discussing how can we differentiate which molecule has which kind of symmetry element present in it. So, let's get started with that. So, Sarthak, how do you define symmetry?
Symmetry, uh, like using symmetry elements rotational axis or center of symmetry or plane of symmetry. If the sameness is observed on application of these symmetry elements, maybe we can say that symmetry is present.
Yes. So there are four symmetry operations, and these are the elements. What you define, like axis of symmetry, center of inversion, then plane of symmetry, and then improper axis of rotation. So there are four types of symmetry elements, and there are four different operations associated with each one of them. And we see symmetry all around ourselves, but how do we define it? So it is basically the distribution of mass. For example, if we take a like a ball, so circular or a sphere is the most symmetrical thing we can find in our surrounding, right? So basically, it is the even distribution of mass either through a plane of symmetry, through axis of plane of symmetry, through axis of rotation, through center of inversion, improper axis of rotation. So it is basically if the 3D distribution of mass is even for an object, it is said to be symmetrical. And so in these four structures, if you see, the distribution of mass is uh, symmetrical because of different symmetry elements. So can you tell me in which one of these which symmetry element is responsible for the symmetry?
In uh, all of these four geometric shapes, it seems that rotational axis is common,
Hmm.
uh, C2, or in case of square, C4, or in sphere, it could be C infinity,
Yes.
which is perpendicular to that particular plane containing circle.
Yes.
And seems C2s are many C2s are present also
Yes.
for circle.
Basically, there is not one symmetry element present in all of them. There are multiple of them. For example, there is a plane of symmetry passing through it, right? Then there is this, you say, C3 axis of rotation present. Then here C4 axis or C2 and C4 both are present. So, and here again the plane is present, then C2 axis of symmetry is present. And here we can say like it is C infinite. So there are multiple symmetry elements present in a particular molecule. So how do you group them? How do you decide a particular molecule exhibits how many number of symmetry elements? And like we can group all of them based on their angle of rotation, the type of planes present in them. So this is where we read about the groups, symmetry groups. So we will come to that later, and I'm just going to mention the elements over here. Symmetry operation. So for example, first is axis of rotation. The operation associated with it is rotation. Then plane of symmetry, it is reflection. Then there is center of symmetry, what we call invergent center. And then there is improper axis of rotation, which contains both rotation and reflection. Rotation followed by reflection. So how do you define axis of symmetry?
Uh, Axis of symmetry maybe can be defined as around that particular axis. If we rotate that molecule or species, then for specific or particular angles, uh, we can say that the 3D distribution is same,
The
and those angles could be different accordingly.
Yes, the position might be changed, but the overall structure is equivalent to its initial structure. That's what we
Yes, yes.
call in symmetry, right? So it is basically imaginary axis passing through the molecule, rotation on which by angle theta degree gives an equivalent orientation, and we represent it by Cn. And what is this n? N is order of axis, 360 degree divided by theta. For example, if theta is 180 degree, so your n would be C, n would be 2. So we will get C2 axis of symmetry. If it is 120-degree rotation, it is C3. 90-degree, C4. And 60-degree, we get C6 axis of rotation. So, so if I give you a molecule, simply water, can you tell me, for example, if we label this hydrogen as 1 and this as 2, so can you now tell me which axis of rotation is possible in this particular molecule?
Uh, this is a planar molecule, and C2 axis seems to be present, which we'll replace H1 and H2 on both sides,
Yes.
and we will get the same structure.
So it should be passing through the center of
Of,
oxygen,
huh.
and from here we rotate it by 180 degree, which is C2 axis of rotation, such that we get an equivalent structure. The positions have changed, but you can't differentiate between two hydrogens. They are same at the end, right? So
Yes,
just the
yes.
positions are changing. So we have C2 axis of symmetry, and we get an identical molecule. Now, if we look at ammonia, we have lone pairs, then we have hydrogen on dashes, wedges, and in oh sorry, yes. So what about now? This is not a planar molecule, right?
Yes. Uh, since there are three protons, uh, while if we pass C3 axis of rotation right through that lone pair and nitrogen,
Yes.
then identical molecule can be obtained for
Yes.
theta 120 degrees.
Right. So how? So in symmetry, the beauty lies in like you have to imagine the molecule. How does it look like in a 3D? For example, when we were talking about water, it was a planar molecule, right? So oxygen, hydrogen, and hydrogen all were in the same plane. So we can just imagine them like in this not in the plane of the paper. So oxygen, hydrogen, and then you can rotate them in the plane, right? But now when we are talking about the ammonia, so my nitrogen atom, then there is a hydrogen which is in the plane. Imagine it is in this hand, and then there is hydrogen which is forward, and then there is hydrogen backward. So you are rotating it, and you will feel that at a 60-degree rotation, sorry, at a 120-degree rotation, you will get a same orientation, equivalent orientation. And there is another way you can imagine it. Just press this nitrogen such that all the hydrogens come in a form of triangle. Imagine hydrogen 1, 2, 3. So hydrogen 1, 2, and 3, and there is at the center is my ammonia. So it's just the representation to understand when how do you imagine molecule. So you have just your hydrogens were out of the plane, but you have pressed it such that it is now forming a triangle in one plane. And now you can imagine that your axis of rotation is passing just through this nitrogen atom, and it is 120-degree rotation, that is giving you an equivalent structure. So, how many rotations are possible to get the initial orientation?
Since all the
I am.
three protons,
Give me a second. Yes. So we rotated it anti-clockwise. So now I have got my H2 here, H1 in the plane now, H3 is in out of the plane. Now you can rotate it again, C3 2, then again 120-degree rotation, C3 3, to get an identical orientation. So this is going to be important when you will be writing the groups. How many rotations are possible to get an identical molecule? So that's why I'm kind of showing you how you can find it out. So to get an identical orientation back, you have to rotate your molecule twice. So there are two C3 axis of rotation present in this molecule. Okay, so this was one example. Now the number of operation, how do you calculate in a particular molecule how many axis of rotations are possible? So for that, the number of operation for Cn axis will be equal to the number of equivalent orientations between initial and identical orientation obtained after rotation. So for example, now if we have C2, so how many of them are possible?
For C2, two operations are possible, like since n is equal to 2, so 1 and 2.
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Yes, for C2 operation, uh, two operations will be possible for C2 axis. C1, like for first time and then second time for n is equal to 2.
Yes, like it's 180 degree. So basically, the number of operation would be will be n minus 1, right? So if I have, for example, BF3 molecule, so you understand chemical bonding, right? From that you can draw the geometry of a molecule from valence band theory. For example, this has a planar structure, and now you have to find out the symmetry element in this. So which would be possible?
There is C3 axis passing through boron
Yes,
only.
yes. So it's 120 degree, and then you can rotate it C3. So how many of them would be possible? So 3
Uh,
minus 1, it would be 2.
2.
So 2 C3 axis of rotation would be possible. So any other axis of rotation that is possible in this?
One, uh, there are, I think, three C2 axes
Yes.
right through B and F bond.
Yes, through each one of the BF bone, there would be a C2 axis of symmetry. So how many C2 would be possible? 3. 3 of them. So in this molecule, we have two C3 axis and three C2 axis. So there is a rule of thumb here that if in a molecule we have Cn axis, either there would be there will be n C2 axis or no C2 axis. So if I have C2 as my main axis of symmetry, so I will have two C2 axis. If I have C3 axis of rotation, then along with C3 I will have three C2 axis of rotation. Similarly for C4 it is C4 plus 4 C2 axis of rotation. So this is how you can kind of find out how many axis of symmetry would be possible. So there is one assignment question based on this. I think you will not be able to solve it this early. Huh. Can you solve this one? How many C3 axes are present in CLF3?
This CLS3 seems to be a tetrahedral, like having methane-like structure. So one C3 axis through C. No, no, sorry. I thought there is iodine also. This is a planar structure. One C3 axis seems to be possible,
Okay, so
and operations two.
So I'm just giving you a hint on like using this VSEPR theory or in chemical bonding if you have studied it, or you can go back and just brush up these basics. And I'm suggesting this to everyone because this would be really helpful in finding the symmetry elements later. For that, you should know how a molecule looks. What is its geometry? So if I have Cl, so how many valence electrons does it have? Chlorine.
Five, five.
No, we kind of consider it like what do you say?
Uh,
It has
like
seven. We consider the lone pairs and the bond pairs together in
yes, yes.
VSEPR.
Sorry.
Okay, and these would be the side atoms. So now they would contribute one electron each one of them. So it would be 7 plus 3 equal to 10. So then you divide 10 by 2. It would be 5. So how do you divide? So chlorine. So you have to kind of divide them like this. Three bone pairs, one like, and this basically it will be. Just give me a second.
And is it pyramidal
Diagonal
shape?
bipyramidal. Yes, yes, exactly. So it would be chlorine. Okay. So you kind of now put the fluorine atoms. And where can you put them?
Uh, since there are three fluorine atoms, the for I think 120-degree angle, there will be least amount of repulsion. So in one plane, and one plane seems to be
So there would be
plausible answer.
terminal fluorines and one like what do you say, equatorial and axial. So two axial fluorines and one equatorial fluorine, and two of the lone pairs would be on the equatorial positions. So for this you just go back and look into the how do you draw the geometry. So now this is going to be a, what do you say, it is a planar molecule, right?
Yes.
So how do you find out the axis of rotation in this now?
Uh,
How many C3 axes of rotation are present? Do you see
um,
any C3 axis of rotation is possible? It is a T-shaped molecule.
yes, yes. Uh,
Which axis of rotation is possible here? C2 axis of symmetry through each of these CLF bond, right? C3 axis of rotation is not possible. If you rotate it at 120 degree, do you think you will be getting an equivalent orientation?
no, no.
So we have zero C3 axis present in this molecule. Okay. Do you have any doubts? You can ask me and I'll try to help you.
Ma'am, actually, since you said that molecule, if we don't consider lone pairs, it is T-shaped, like,
Yes, yes.
so means I don't know how to imagine that C2 axis will give us symmetry.
Okay. So if I so this is how it is going to look, right? So C2 axis of rotation is passing here from here.
Okay, okay, okay.
So C2 axis of rotation like this, and I think there is only one C2 axis of rotation too,
Huh.
not two. So this is my mistake. The planes are possible. Plane, there is only one plane. No, two planes are not possible. So one C2 axis of rotation is possible here, but not C3 axis of rotation. Is
Okay,
it,
okay.
is it clear?
Ma'am, also one little doubt. Since we have like three lone pairs, right? Uh, so
No,
I think
no. Firstly, you make bond pairs, then you kind of leave the lone pairs, right?
yes. Okay, so total in all total three electrons are being utilized in forming Cl and S bonds. So only two lone pairs are
Yeah,
remaining.
exactly. Like, how do you group them? So, generally, before like even making the geometry, you will first allot the bond pairs. Like these bond pairs would be forming. Okay, so three of them are forming. One, two, three. One, two, three, four, five. So now these two will be lone pairs. Clear?
Yes.
So seven. So firstly, assign the electrons to the bond pairs, and then to the lone pairs, and then you can figure out which particular geometry this molecule fits into. Like when you have three bond pairs, two lone pairs. So it is all in chemical bonding. I have kind of taught that in one of the course. So that takes a uh, lot of time. But if you want me, I can take an extra session for that, just in case. Okay.
Yes.
And while we will be discussing about the molecules, we will be definitely discussing how to imagine what is the geometry and shape of a molecule. Okay. So another molecule, another question if we have on this. Okay, a molecule has a twofold axis, which is C2 axis, and a mirror plane perpendicular to that. The point group must have a, okay, okay. We will come to this later after we will discuss about the point groups. Okay, now this one you can solve. The molecule with a C2 axis of symmetry among the following is. So firstly, decide Which one of these would be the center element?
In option A, boron seems to be the center element.
Yes. So how many electrons should we assign to it?
Atomic number of boron is 5. So if we consider valency of 3, uh, 2 more electrons will be remaining.
Four electrons.
Actually, not it is like that. 2s, one lone pair and one extra electron, 2p.
Yes. So basically, it would be three electrons, right?
Yes,
So first assign them to make bond pairs. So there are no lone pairs in this one. So now you can imagine there are three bond pairs. Which geometry is possible? Is this one possible? Trigonal planar, right?
yes.
Okay. So now in this one, which C2 axis? Do you think there is a C2 axis of symmetry possible?
Uh, right through hydrogen and boron bond.
Yes, through this molecule, through this bond, C2 axis. And also here we will be discussing later. Plane axis, this plane of symmetry will also be passing through this, and C2 axis is also passing here. So you can rotate your molecule through this BH bond. So this molecule does have a C2 axis of symmetry, right? So your
Yes.
option is A. Now if we look at other options, CH3Cl. So four electrons and three of we have been given four side elements. So all of them are, what do you say, bond pairs? So it would be a tetrahedral geometry, right? So this is how it will look. So now which which axis of rotation is possible in this one?
C3 axis of rotation.
Right, exactly. Which would be passing through this CCl bond. It will be taking these two atoms on its axis of symmetry, and it would be rotating these three elements hydrogen in a 120-degree plane, 120-degree angle of rotation. So basically, as I discussed in the ammonia, so instead of lone pair, now you have a chlorine, right? So you just imagine that your CCl, you pressed it, and the three hydrogens are in plane like this in the triangle form, and your carbon is like this. So through this your angle C3 axis is passing, and you are rotating them in a 120 degree, on a 120-degree angle. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now for NH2Cl, so we have five electrons, and I have been given three side elements. So hydrogen, hydrogen, Cl. So there are three bond pairs and one lone pair. So now which geometry is possible?
Trigonal bipyramidal.
No, no, no. Pyramidal. Uh, just like,
Yes, yes, sorry,
ammonia.
sorry. Only one lone pair is there.
Yes, just like ammonia. Okay. So it is one lone pair, three bond pairs. So your lone pair will be here, and uh, this would be your Cl, and then your hydrogen, hydrogen, right? So now can you figure out any? axis of rotation is possible in this?
Uh, doesn't seem any. I think plane could be possible, but axis of rotation doesn't seems to be.
Yes. So there is a plane possible here, so that you can pass your plane from taking this NCl on the plane and passing through between the two hydrogens right from here, so that, or you can imagine from this side. Okay, so it's just about all imagination, how good you are at imagining your molecule. So imagine your nitrogen and Cl in one plane, nitrogen and Cl in one plane, and just passing hydrogen and hydrogen on both sides. Are you getting it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so a plane is possible, but not C2 axis of symmetry. So these are our wrong options. Then you have HOCl. So what would be your center element?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. So how many valence electrons does it have? Six.
Six.
So now you allot one H, one Cl. So you have two lone pairs plus two bond pairs. So it is just like water, right?
Yes.
So do you think there is a C2 axis of symmetry present here, which was earlier present in water that was passing through oxygen? So it's not there now because we have two different atoms on both the sides. So there is no C2 axis of symmetry possible. Okay. So these were the two questions in previous year assignment which were based on your axis of symmetry. So, and I'm giving you some examples that you can solve later, and you can kind of discuss with me if you don't understand. Is it fine?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I do have some. Okay. So you can work on gene F4. So first thing you have to do is find out number of bond pairs, lone pairs. Based on that, find out the geometry that is possible. So if there is only bond pairs, the geometry is similar. But when you have lone pairs, it is shaped. Basically, your molecule is in 3D now. Okay, so it is when you have bond pairs, it is planar. No, no, not like that. Basically, it is about shape. So like when you have lone pair, your shape changes. So if we discuss about xenon, how many valence electrons are there? Can you tell me?
Uh, Eight valence electrons.
Yes. So 8 of them are there, and we have been given 4 side elements. So 2 would be lone pairs. So I have now 4 bond pairs plus 2 lone pairs. In which geometry I can accommodate them?
Octahedral
Yes. And lone pairs on X
equatorial.
and your fluorine on the. So now you can kind of find out which symmetry elements are possible in this. These,
C4.
yes, because these four fluorines are in plane now. So C4 axis of rotation. So do you think there is C2 axis also present?
Yes, like coinciding through C4
Yes, exactly.
and
And
in plane of
in plane
Uh,
of fluorines passing through the G and F bonds. Okay.
hmm,
Also
hmm,
air. So as we discussed the thumb of rule, if you can find when you have n greater than 2, when you have n greater than 2 and you can figure out if only one C2, then you can consider that in your molecule there would be 4 C2 axis of symmetry, that is nC2 axis of symmetry.
yes,
Okay, that is for that is kind of given. So either there would be C2 axis present, then there would be nC2, and or it won't be present in the molecule. So there are only two options. So this will solve the problem for you when you will be grouping them in a point group. Uh, so other examples are, so NH4 positive, then you have N2F2, NH2Cl2, C2H6, CH3, C, C2H6 is already there. Mm, C2H2, F2, Cl2. Okay, so try to solve these. Firstly, figure out what would be the possible geometry of the molecule, and then try to find out what are the possible plane, like axis of rotation, plane of symmetry. So let's move ahead with this classification of axis and plane of symmetry. So we have principal axis of rotation, which is the highest order axis of rotation that is possible in a molecule. Are you getting what I am teaching? If you have any doubt, you can stop me in between.
no, no, I'm fine.
Yeah. So highest order of axis of rotation. For example, if you have a C4 axis of rotation, so you will have a C4V, C4H, D2, D4H, these kind of the point groups. So you have to figure out what is the highest order of axis of rotation possible in a molecule first. Then there are S axis, or uh, what we say S axis is basically axis other than principal P axis. This is what we call P axis. So there are two types of rotation possible. One is principal axis of rotation, and then there are lower order axis of rotations. Now in plane we have two type of planes possible: vertical plane of reflection, because plane is a element of reflection operation. Okay, so vertical plane and horizontal plane. So we represent this as a sigma V, this as sigma H. So we discussed about BF3, right? It is a planar molecule. So can you tell me which type of plane is present in this molecule? We already discussed that it has a C3 axis of rotation. It has C2 axis of rotation, so which is passing through BF. So there are three C2 axes. Now what about the plane?
Uh, Along right uh, through three C2 axes,
Yes.
there seem to be three sigma planes. And since this is a planar molecule, one plane will contain all the four atoms.
Yes, exactly. So these are 3 sigma V vertical planes because your molecule is in plane. BF3 all are in the planes, and now you are cutting in a vertical plane from out of plane. So it is your 3 sigma V present. And now on the same plane, which is horizontal plane, perpendicular to your sigma V, is
C3.
what we call horizontal plane. So we have in a molecule we always will have only one horizontal plane present. Either it is present or either it is only one. Sorry, it is present either in one or it won't be present. Okay, vertical
Yes.
plane can be any, but it is also dependent on your axis of rotation, principal axis of rotation. Sometime, for example, if you have C3 axis of rotation as principal axis, so you will have 3 sigma V corresponding to it. So that also we will be discussing. So sigma H will always be 1. The molecule can have either 0 or 1 sigma H. Along with Cn axis, there will be n sigma V, n vertical planes present or no sigma V present. So there are just two options that you have to take care of. So if you are able to figure out one vertical plane, then you can assume that there are n sigma V present in this molecule. So you won't have to figure out each one of them, where is it present, how many of them are there. So that's how you simplify your point groups. So I'm writing the maximum possible combinations from these. Maximum possible combinations. First is Cn plus Nc2 plus N sigma V plus sigma H. Then Cn plus Nc2. Cn plus N sigma V. Only Cn, then Cn plus sigma H. Only one plane, and that is sigma. You just don't differentiate it as vertical or horizontal, or you can just prepare. So these are your questions. You have to tell me your from these possible combinations what is there in these molecules. We have already discussed BF3, but just for the sake of it, So can you tell me the vertical, sorry, principal axis and side axis present, and what planes are present in these molecules?
Yes, for the H2O, there is one C2 axis and a sigma vertical plane, sigma V plane, and sigma H also. So three possible symmetry elements are possible. One C2, one sigma V, and sigma H.
If Let me clear you one thing here. Okay, what is horizontal plane? Horizontal plane is basically the plane perpendicular to your axis of rotation, principal axis of rotation. So, firstly, figure out where is your principal axis of rotation. In this molecule, it is passing through oxygen, C2 axis of rotation. So, you when you have to find out whether horizontal plane is present, you have to see whether a plane perpendicular to this principal axis of rotation is possible or not. So it should be, for example, your oxygen and hydrogen are like this, and your C2 is present like this. So your perpendicular plane, which perpendicular plane is possible? This one, right? So
Yes.
if you're going to cut your molecule like this, will it be giving you an equivalent orientation? Tell me.
No. No.
It will just inverse it. It will be like this. So is it a equivalent or identical molecule? No, right?
No. No.
It is a enantiomer. So whenever you are looking for a horizontal plane, you have to look it perpendicular to your principal axis of rotation. So
Uh,
in this molecule, your horizontal plane is not present. Okay. What about sigma V?
then I think one C2 axis and two sigma V planes.
Yes. So one C2 axis just through your one sigma V plane passing through your oxygen, and another is your plane of paper. Is it clear? Sigma
Yes.
V. There are two sigma V possible. So sigma V
Okay.
will always carry your principal axis of rotation on it.
Uh, could you repeat?
So what I am saying, sigma V will be present. Basically, it will be carrying your sigma will be carrying your principal axis of rotation on it,
Yes.
and sigma h is plane
Perpendicular.
perpendicular to your principal axis of rotation. So that's how you look for sigma v and sigma h. So if sigma h is not there and there are other planes, those will be sigma v. So that's how you differentiate. Okay, now try to find in this molecule.
Uh, Ma'am, can I ask you one doubt?
Yes.
Uh, so that sigma h will be perpendicular to principal axis of rotation, right?
Yes.
Uh, uh, so does that mean sigma h and sigma h can not always be molecular plane?
No, not always. Your sigma h is just the plane perpendicular. So basically, what you have to see first, find your principal axis of rotation. Okay.
Mhm.
For example, in this molecule, tell me where is your principal axis of rotation.
It lies in the plane.
It is C3 axis of rotation passing through boron, right?
Okay, in BF3, okay.
Yes, in BF3. So now you see it is a planar molecule, and your boron. So this
Mhm.
boron and your fluorine are like this, like this.
Hmm.
Okay, and your axis is like this. So which plane would be perpendicular to this C3 axis? This plane, right?
Yes.
And this plane is cutting your atoms through passing through them. So
Hmm.
it's kind of bisecting the atoms. So there is a plane present here, right?
Yes.
You can say that in this molecule sigma h is present. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, now if you look into this ammonia molecule. Okay, so now nitrogen in the plane and then hydrogen and hydrogen like this. So you can consider them in one plane and one hydrogen towards you and towards me. So now your C3 axis is a principal axis here, right?
Yes.
So it is passing through nitrogen and your hydrogen are like this. So now see, is there a plane perpendicular to C3 axis of rotation? It should be.
Um,
Is it cutting your any of your atoms and giving you a symmetry?
no.
No. It would be if you are passing a plane perpendicular to it through your C3 axis perpendicular. So these hydrogen would be inverted upward,
Hmm.
right? So you can
Hmm.
your sigma h is not present. Clear?
Yes.
Now
Yes.
what about sigma v? How do you find it? So now if we look about ammonia, right? So nitrogen, hydrogen, and hydrogen. If I pass a plane here, right, like this, uh, like through one of the NH molecule, it will kind of give two hydrogen on both the sides, equivalent,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So one sigma V is present. Similarly, through another NH bond, there would be another sigma V. So you can just say if there is one sigma V, then there would be three sigma V corresponding to your principal axis of rotation. So here we have C3, 3 sigma V, and no sigma H present, right?
Yes.
And what about C2 axis? Is it possible?
No.
No. So either it would be present, or if it is present, it would be 3C2, or it won't be present at all.
Yes.
Okay. Now find for your sigma V in this BF3 molecule.
Uh, there are three sigma V
Similarly, similar to your, what do you say?
ammonia.
No, no. Yeah, similar to that, but our C3 axis is just passing through boron. Then we have C2 axis, 3 C2 axis, right?
Yes.
And your sigma V is also passing through these.
Hmm.
So your sigma will V will always contain your principal axis of rotation on it. So in this molecule you have C3, 3 C2, 3 sigma V, and sigma H also. So
Yes.
the best combination possible, right?
Yes.
Now what about this molecule, C2H2?
This also is a planar molecule,
Yes,
and it has three
principal
C2
axis of
axis.
rotation. Yes, what?
Three C2 axis,
C
like in three coordinates called X, Y, Z directions.
one C2 axis and another C2 axis. Two C2 axis. Got it?
Ma'am, but like third one perpendicular to both these two, like two will be in the same plane, right? And one perpendicular to that double bond, if we consider that.
Hmm. Okay.
But only C2 means. No higher.
No, no higher order axis of rotation. So C2 axis like this, then perpendicular. So I think if you consider like one passing through this bond also, it would be giving you an equivalent rotation. And I think that is kind of repeatable in one of them, because it is like uh, C2 plus 2 C2. Okay, I think you are right. We will have 3 C2 axis of rotation. What about sigma V?
Mhm.
And all of these,
3 sigma v.
no,
Uh,
2 sigma V would be possible.
and
Third
a
plane,
third one will be, sorry, 2 sigma v and 1 sigma h,
yes. Sigma H is basically your,
perpendicular
yes.
to.
If you consider this, for example, C double bond C, hydrogen, hydrogen, and if you're rotating it like this, then the plane in which all of them are present, it is the sigma H plane. So
Mhm.
that is your present here. Now, what about this? This one.
Okay.
Is there a C2 axis of rotation?
Yes, there is perpendicular to that plane containing molecule.
Yes. From here. And you would be rotating it like this, such that on a diagonally C, such that,
Hmm.
got it?
Yes.
Uh, like this, then you have C2. So it is perpendicular uh, to your plane. So that means you also have your horizontal plane, right?
Yes.
Do you see a sigma V plane in this?
Mm.
Huh?
Uh, uh, Seems two diagonally passing sigma v.
No, if you see C double bond C and then Cl, and if you would be cutting it like this, do you think it is a like whole diagonally present? It is like in a zigzag form, like this.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it, if you have to cut it, it would be like this, passing through your C2 like this,
Hmm.
and that plane is not present in this. So that you have to keep in mind. Okay,
Okay, so
plane
if
would be
those
passing
four
through
atoms
the
were
plane.
in same line, then it would have been possible. But here it is not so,
Yes,
right?
because the plane should be passing through your bones. Plane would always be passing through your bones.
Hmm.
Do you think there is a plane passing through the bone C double bone C that would be cutting, that would be giving you an like reflection?
No, there doesn't seem any.
Yes. So that's why only C2 and sigma H is present here. So now if we and you can practice with alphabets also, what planes are present in alphabets, what symmetry elements are present in alphabets. So there are a lot of examples that you can solve to brush up your symmetry elements thing. Then we have center of symmetry. So once you are able to figure out which symmetry elements are present, then you, it would be easy for you to catch which point group is present in a particular molecule. Okay, so here, center of symmetry. It is basically the inversion center. For example, in a sphere, so that in any angle, if you move from there and you reach an identical position opposite to it, for example from the center, if you're going here and if you're going here, then these two should be the identical positions. So that is what you call your center of symmetry. So in this molecule, Can you say you have a center of symmetry?
Yes, yeah, in both cases.
Right? If you go here, it is Cl. If you are going here, it is Cl. Similarly, from here, you are going here, it is carbon, it is carbon, it is hydrogen, it is hydrogen. Here also, it is hydrogen, hydrogen, and Cl, Cl. So it is inversion center is present. So it was very simple. I think center of symmetry one can easily find out. So moving to the improper axis of rotation. So it is center of symmetry is represented as I, and improper axis of rotation is represented as Sn. So it is basically, firstly you have to find out the firstly you have to find out the principal axis of rotation in this imaginary axis passing through the molecule on rotation of which by theta degree followed by a perpendicular reflection gives an equivalent orientation. It is known as improper axis of rotation. So basically, it is rotation followed by reflection. There are two symmetry elements present in this. You will get your molecule identical only after rotation followed by reflection. And the best example for this is CH4, a tetrahedral molecule. So if we represent a tetrahedral molecule on a cuboid on a cube, so I am labeling the hydrogens like this, and my carbon is at the center of the cube. Okay, clear how,
Yes,
how we are representing it? Here, somewhere at the center of the cube, your carbon is present. Now, how can we find out which axis of rotation is present in this? Can you tell me which axis of rotation you can introduce in this?
uh, actually, it seems C3 axis might be possible, but I'm not sure. Seems to carbon and hydrogen bonds.
So, this molecule has S4 axis of rotation. Okay, and that's where we have to kind of move. So S4 axis of rotation is basically 90-degree rotation. And how is your 90-degree rotation possible in this?
Uh, is it like H1 and H2 will replace each other and H4 and H3?
Can you repeat?
Uh, is that rotation like H1 and H2? These two hydrogens will change position, and on that left hand side, H3 and H4.
Yes. So basically, your H1, you are moving it 90 degree. So this is one corner. It will move from this corner to this corner. So 90 degree. Here my H1 is coming. If I am moving H1 here at 90 degree, where should H2 go? Here, right?
Yes.
H2. Where would H4 go? Here. H3. It will come here. So here I will have H3. So now it is my 90 degree rotation. Now to go back to this initial position, what can you do? A sigma plane, sorry, like sigma h generally. Is there a plane possible to go back to this initial position?
Uh,
Right,
Ma'am,
right through.
could you tell that axis where it is actually?
Wait, wait. So the 90 degree rotation you are asking.
Yes, yes, yes. In so with respect to that axis, I can try
So basically,
position of sigma.
what I'm trying to tell you is, you have this hydrogen, right? You have two hydrogens are in plane, and two hydrogens are in out of the plane. So you're basically moving the two hydrogen and two hydrogen at 90 degree, like out of the plane. So what?
Hmm.
So basically, two of them are in plane, two of them are in out of plane. So these two will now directly go to the out of the plane, and these two will come in plane. So that is a 90 degree rotation.
Okay.
Okay. So that is what I'm trying to show you here in this thing. So it is basically passing through your C.
Only carbon atom.
Yes, yes. In between your,
Four hydrogen.
yes, something like this. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Now, if I introduce a plane from here, perpendicular, like cutting the cube just from the center, just drawing it bit small. So your this hydrogen will come here, 4. This H2 will go here. This H1 will come here, and this H3 will come here. Don't you see that this is just equivalent to this orientation?
Yes, it is equivalent.
Exactly. So basically, your this improper axis of rotation is something you get. It's not about principal axis, because in your tetrahedral, what is your principal axis of rotation? It is C3, right?
Yes, yes.
But there is C4 axis of rotation present. Not C4, like C4 axis of rotation is not present. It is something you are introducing to introduce another what do you say, operation, S4
Hmm.
axis. Even though in this
So,
molecule C4 axis is not present, C4 is not possible, but S4 axis of rotation is possible. Improper axis of rotation is possible.
hmm,
It is rotation followed by reflection. So it is a very what do you say, very unique example that is very difficult to catch in the first way. So firstly just draw this in your notebook, and then you will be able to understand. So for your improper axis of rotation to be present, it is not mandatory that the axis of rotation corresponding to it will also be present.
yes, yes.
Okay, clear. So we will be discussing some questions, and then I hope this thing will be clear to you. Let's say, let's take one more example. Staggered in ethane. So how do you represent your staggered ethane? It is Sohor's representation. Okay. So in this, if I make a triangle out of it, for example, the front one is this one, inverted, and then the back one is dotted one. So tell me, what is the principal axis of rotation in this molecule?
Uh, Seems S6 might be possible because uh, back side triangle and front side triangle, if we merge them, like six corners are present,
Yes,
and the plane will be like it can be midway between those two carbons.
yes, right.
Uh,
So,
so uh, since six corners, so like 60-degree theta.
yes. So basically, you rotate it 60 degree, it will become, like, this will be becoming 60 degree H3. Wait a minute, I will just get the closer. H1, H3, H2, and H4, H5, H6. So now, if you introduce a plane perpendicular to your 60 degree axis of rotation, which is passing through this, right? So the plane would be here. So your the plane behind will come forward, and it would be H6, H4, H5, and this would be your behind plane, H1, H3, H2. So you can say there is a S6 axis of rotation present, because anyway these are hydrogens which are identical.
Yes.
Getting me? Because
Yes.
so this is the easy way is to what how I understand it. You move it, it will become this, and this was like this, so it has become this. Got it? And now when you introduce the plane, it will be again similar.
Hmm.
That's how I try to understand it, because you can imagine things easily instead of kind of writing things on the. So like this. So when you are rotating it 60 degree, it kind of this type of thing was coming like this. It got inverted, right? And after
Yes.
you just go back to its initial. So you can say there is S6 axis of rotation, improper axis of rotation is present in this molecule.
Hmm.
Let's see if we have any question on this. Okay, yeah, here it is. Can you solve this one?
Uh, I think option A seems to be the answer. Like it is kind of similar to uh, the last recent example. B2H6 will have two BH3 units.
Okay.
No, but no, sorry. It's different actually.
Hmm.
The banana bond dotted and
Yes, it is something like this, right?
yes.
Okay. So now, how do you find out the how do you find out the axis of rotation? S6 is present in this.
I guess no. Actually, uh, I was wrong. I think because I correlated with previous example. Since
No,
so
no.
in total.
Yes, based on the symmetry, because see carbon, how carbon forms bond is different to boron, right?
Hmm, hmm,
Those
hmm,
are two different group elements.
hmm.
So can you try it now? Do you think there is a S6 geometry possible? For that, first you have to see whether C6 is possible here. Like, not possible in the literal way. Uh, like, after C6, there is a plane possible that can give you an identical orientation.
Uh,
Similar to your tetrahedral, this CH4 molecule. C4 was not present in the molecule, but
yes.
C4 along with plane gives you an improper axis of rotation. That was possible. Is that
Hmm.
kind of example, uh, B2H6 is that kind of example? S6 is basically 60-degree rotation.
Hmm.
And CH4 we have already discussed. So that is out of option. Like this is wrong. Then pH 5, how do you draw the geometry?
Trigonal bipyramidal or a square pyramidal.
Trigonal bipyramidal pyramidal, because there are 5 bond pairs.
Hmm.
You can just put your hydrogens on equatorial and axial positions. Then SF6, so it would be octahedral, because S has 6 valence electrons, right? And all of them are bonded now. So how can which
Uh,
geometry can accommodate them? It is octahedral.
Maybe SF6 can have a six axis. sorry, improper axis of symmetry.
Yes, exactly. And how do you imagine it?
Uh,
How do you
Actually,
represent it?
uh, I am seeing it a little bit tilted, right? That axis could go through, can go through only sulfur.
Okay, okay. See, I'm just showing you how you can imagine it. This is how your bonds would be, right?
Yes.
Sulfur, two bonds are in vertical plane, two fluorines towards you, two fluorine towards me, right? So basically, you can consider them uh, like in a triangle. One triangle is forming here. Mm, this one is one triangle, and then there is another triangle that you can consider like this, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Similar to your C2H6.
Hmm.
Now you can easily consider it. Firstly, 60 degree, we will move it 60 degree. So let's label it like f1, f f2, f3, f4, f5, f6. Sometimes it is easy to imagine than to draw on a paper, so this is that kind of example. So if you're moving it 60 degree, just imagine this one. Firstly, this one, imagine this moving, you are moving it 60 degree. So it would be f1 would be going here, f3 here, f2 here, right?
Uh, I think, ma'am, like if we consider it, uh, like if we watch it, uh, how to say, like bending or tilted. Uh, I mean, like Damru shape,
Okay.
then that axis will go through, three fluorines will be above and three fluorines will be below. So
Yes,
only through sulfur, and like it will be difficult to draw here, right?
yes, yes,
Since
that's what I was saying. Exactly. So you can just imagine it like the hydrogen, sorry, fluorine, then there is this bond.
huh,
Sulfur, you can imagine like it is a point here, then there are triangles and your fluorine. So your
yeah,
sulfur, through sulfur your S6 is C6 is passing, and then your plane is just passing in between. So that's how
yeah,
you
yeah.
can imagine it. Okay. So S6 is present in SF6 over here. So this is your right answer. Okay. So let's see another question similar to this. There is, yeah, this one. The molecule that possesses S4 symmetry element is ethylene.
No, I think since methane had S4 axis, so uh, out of four options, the planar species will get cancelled out, right?
Sorry.
Uh, in previous example, the methane had S4 axis, na?
Hmm.
So I think species having similar geometry or shape of tetrahedral geometry could be possible answer. So, like, what I am trying to say is, planar ones will get cancelled out.
Uh, Firstly, let's draw the structures, geometries, and then we will figure out which one is possible. So, alene is basically sp2 sp2 carbons connected, like this would be sp, then this is sp2. So, this is your hydrogen in one plane, and here your hydrogens would be in another plane. So, how do you imagine your allenes? What I imagine it as, consider a square. For example, I am imagining this square is in plane, and here is my this carbon, this one carbon. Okay, it is present here, and now another. So this is in plane, and this is out of plane. Okay, so these hydrogens are in plane, and these hydrogens are in out of plane. Got it? This is how you imagine your.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so now imagine if there is a S4 possible here.
S4 seems to be possible. It is similar to CH4 case.
Right.
Two hydrogens in plane and two hydrogens out of plane. But I'm not sure because those rings,
Yes,
I don't know.
you have exactly understood it right. So there is a S4, if you kind of rotate it 90-degree. So firstly, C for axis of rotation, you have to rotate it. For that,
Yes, yes.
for example, how do I imagine it? So these hydrogens were in out of the plane. One is towards me, one is towards you. Now you have like rotated it 90-degree. So initially it was like this. Now it would be like this. Got it?
Hmm.
So in plane. So you can say that this is in plane now. This ring is in plane, because this is where it is connected. Okay, and now this is, which was like this, it would be now like this. So your hydrogens are like this now. So it is like, from here it has changed to here. Now if you introduce a plane perpendicular to this, your C4 was here, right?
Yes.
And now you introduce a plane perpendicular, this will come back here. So don't you think it would be identical?
Yeah, yeah. It will be identical.
Yes. So it has a S4 axis of S4 improper axis of rotation. So
Hmm.
lean
Hmm.
is our right answer. Got it?
Yes.
Benzene. I'm just representing the bonds like this. So do you think S4 is possible here? 90-degree rotations. What I
Um,
think is S6 is possible in benzene.
uh, C6 is possible. S6, don't know exactly.
So see, C6 is basically, say, 60-degree, right? If you rotate it 60-degree, the bonds of benzene, it would be identical, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm. Hmm.
the plane would be just the plane in which this benzene is, the plane of the paper,
Yes.
the book. So it is perpendicular. So you can say S6 is present, but you can't
Hmm. Hmm.
find out S4. So this is not the option. Now 1,3-butadiene. 1,3. Do you think there is S4 possible in this structure?
Uh, if it is like Aline, then
Then we could have thought of it, but it's not.
huh,
Right. So this is not the right option. So these are the kind of questions you will be getting.
yes.
And if you want to learn more about symmetry elements, there is a course Professor Anindya Datta is floating this semester, Symmetry and Point Group Theory. You can also follow that. Okay.
Okay.
On my channel also there are videos. I have also done a TA for that, Symmetry and Point Group. So you can also follow that one. Okay. Now in this molecule, this question, the Gauche conformation of N-butane possesses. Can you solve this one? What is the Gauche conformation?
Uh, it is confirmation in between staggered and eclipsed confirmations.
See, that is in what do you say? Sohor's projection. And Gauche is when Gauche you talk about in a Newman confirmation. Okay,
Yes, yes.
like this, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so this is your Gauche confirmation. So in this of N-butane they are talking about. So N-butane is basically right. So one CH2 HH. So this is what do you say? This is a Gauche confirmation.
No, this
This
is
is a
staggered.
yeah. What you say it as NT. There are what do you say? I've also forgot the name. NT skew confirmation.
Sin and anti.
What?
Sin and anti.
No, no, no. Wait a minute. Uh, staggered, eclipsed. They're mentioning it like that only. Okay. So this is like this is your butane, and I'm writing the different confirmations we get. This is syn periplanar. Then we have eclipsed confirmation just below the bonds. This is your eclipsed confirmation. And this was your anti-periplanar confirmation. And your gauche is when you have a certain angle difference between your bonds. See, it is CS3. CH3, CH3, and this is, you can say, there is a certain angle, I think 120 degrees there. Sorry, 60 degree. That's
Uh-huh.
that's why, yes, 60 degree. So this is 60 degree, and in eclipse, your bonds are just above each other. Okay, so we are in our question. We have been asked about the gauche conformation of n-butane. So this is your gauche conformation. So now you can tell me. First option is plane of symmetry and is a chiral. Do you think there is a plane of symmetry present in gauche conformation?
Uh, Plane of symmetry. No,
Right. So there is no plane of symmetry, I can see. Because if we draw it on, like, let's draw it on another page. Okay. So if imagine there is a plane just between the, like this, cutting like this. So if it would be cutting in between, so we are not getting a hydrogen just above this, a hydrogen just below this, right? So that plane is not possible. A plane passing through this one. So there are different bonds on both the sides. Okay. Uh, a plane passing through this. I think this one is possible, right? Or not? No. If you're
no,
passing
no,
a
no.
plane through this, hydrogen is there on the both side, but CH3
Hmm.
will be coming. So we can say there is no plane of symmetry. Okay. So these two options are out. Now what about the center of symmetry? Do you see a center of symmetry? I don't think so. There is a center of
No.
symmetry. Center of symmetry is possible in anti-periplanar conformation, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So this option is also incorrect. Now C2 excess of symmetry. Where do you think there is a C2 excess of symmetry present in this?
Actually, doesn't seem any C2X. That's just like I can't imagine actually because of that angle 60 degrees whole symmetry is like getting disturbed.
Do you think there is a C2 excess of symmetry passing here?
Uh, in between those two carbons, uh, carbon number two and carbon number three.
CH3, H, 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 and then So, is it possible we can discuss this question in the? I have a call from my professor.
Yeah. No issue.
So,
Even I will try it.
yes, I'll explain this in the next class, and we have some few more questions. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Just try to join the next class, please.
Okay.
Okay.